Watch this after. Is this Myth flaming me or my dance moves? Let's see it. Let's see it.
Mo, look, I know you're here still.
I was jumping at the club. I can't lie.
Yo, Mo's playing leapfrog at the fucking club, bro. I'm not fucking playing with you right now.
I was turning up playing leapfrog, though.
It was so fucking funny.
Okay, number one, I don't think I was dancing like that or that bad. Probably pretty close at the very least. Maybe it was that bad. But either way, like I said, the brother was still turning up. Had a blast. Okay? Straight up. Don't care.
It's showtime!
At this point, it's Saturday morning. We get up at like 10, 11 a.m. I'm tired as fuck. Like dead ass, so tired. But we have to go get shit ready for this day club because the whole group was gonna pull up. So me and Ibrahim go. We meet our promoter friend who is super lit, who's chill, and showed us around, helped hook us up with the table. And this was at this place. Let me show you guys the picture. And then this was the day club where we got like a little cabana. Just so, like, you know, the group had, like, a little hideout, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know. After this, or not after this, let me tell a story. Some weirdo. This guy comes up to me, he's like, yo, Mo, what's up? Great to meet you, man. I'm a big fan. I'm like, yo, nice to meet you too, man. We talk, like, for a minute, and then he walks away, and I'm like, chill. Then he comes back with one of his friends, and he's like, yo, this is my boy. And I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? And he's like, yo, like, so, like, what do you do? And I'm like, play video games. He's like, how does that work? I'm like, I play video games and get money. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, like, what the fuck do you mean, how does it work? You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, like, he's like, do you invest your money? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what do you invest in? And I'm like, you know, real estate, crypto. And at this point, he's like, yeah, cryptocurrency's fake. And then I was like, well, you're just one of the stupidest guys of all time, but that's cool. Don't worry about it, right? Don't worry about it. I don't call him stupid. I'm just like, yeah, like, that's not true, right? That's what I say. I'm like, that's not true. And then he's like, listen. He's like, I have, like, a thing where, he's like, I do real estate for these big companies like Chick-fil-A and stuff, and pretty much you buy the real estate and own it in their name. And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm good. And he's like, no, but, like, trust me, it's, like, a very lucrative opportunity. You don't get these many often. And I'm like, I'm good. And he's like, is there a reason why you're good? And I'm like, I'm at a day club. I'm not going to take I literally tell him, I'm not going to take investment advice from someone I meet at a day club. And he's like, just take my card. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And then he's like, will you think about it at least? And I'm like, yeah, I'll think about it. He's like, are you just saying that just to say it? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And then he gives me his card anyway, and I just take his card. He dips, and I just rip up his card. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, dudes are weird, bro. Like, there's no world where I'm gonna invest or talk to you or fucking have any part of whatever the fuck you want me to do when you're pitching it to me at a day club. Now, this is a funny story. This is the first story I have of a girl. This is funny. Myth told the story on a stream. Let me say this again. Butchered it. Made me look a lot worse than I was. But I will tell the real story. So, we walk into the place, and this girl walks us to our table, the hostess, right? You know, she brings you to your table. She's not the waitress, but she's the hostess. And she brings us to our table, and man, she is very, very attractive, you know? And she walks away, and you know me as typical, whenever I see a hot girl, I'm like, I would marry her. So I tell the whole table, I'm like, bro, I would marry this girl on the spot. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'd marry her. And they're all laughing, and I'm like, yo, like, I might ask for her number, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, go for it, you know what I'm saying? So we're all chilling, we're all talking at the table, right? We're all talking, everything's fine. And she walks by, so I stop her. And I'm like, hey, excuse me, like, can I get your name? And by the way, let me say this. These fucking dudes, Voyboy, Shifter, Myth, I'm calling all you fuckers out. Should I tell you why? When she walks up to the table for me to, like, ask her a question and start spitting some game, they all go quiet. They're having full-blown convo. They're like, ah, blah, 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 blah. And then once I start, everyone starts staring at me and watching me. Do you know how weird that is? Bro. Dude, let a brother have a chance, man. Let me have a chance. They all stop talking and just start watching me, but whatever. She comes up, I'm like, hey, excuse me, like, I didn't get your name. I was like, I didn't get your name. She's like, Aubrey. I'm like, oh, look, what's good? My name is Mo. And I'm like, by the way, I'm using a fake name before you guys start doing weird research. I'm like, oh, like, what's good? My name's Mo. I'm like, what time do you get off your shift tonight? She's like, I don't really have a set in stone schedule. And I'm like, okay, well, I was like, well, we're going to be headed to the club, like, relatively soon. You know, we're going to hang out. If you want to join us, you know, you're more than welcome to. She's like, thank you so much, but she just walks away. She doesn't give me her number. She didn't give me her name, or she didn't give me her number. I didn't give her my number. But to be fair, I didn't really ask for it. I just kind of left it as an invite, and she was like, thank you, I appreciate it, right? That's where we left off. Now, the whole table thought it was just an L, right? The whole table was like, oh, that's a fucking L. Like, hey, they're like, at least you tried. And I'm like, hey, shoot or shoot, you know what I'm saying? I'm tenacious, though. And I didn't really get that feeling that it was an L. So I'm like, yo, I gotta hit her up again. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we end up eating our food. Everything's fine. It's chill. I get some like fucking expensive ass food. It was all good. Best calamari I've ever had at the restaurant. And then we get the receipt. So we got the receipt, and I rip off a piece of the receipt, and I take a pen to write my number down. And I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna give her my number because I didn't give it to her. And if she wants to text me, she will. I'm not gonna ask for her number, but I'll just give her mine. If she hits me up, she hits me up. If she doesn't, she doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to like make it weirder than it already is. I'm not a creeper for this, dude. You guys don't understand the environment we were in. So I'm telling you, I was getting good vibes from her. Even though everyone was laughing at me, I felt the good vibes. So I write my number on a piece of paper. I fold it up. And while we're walking out, I go up to her, and I'm like, yo, listen, by the way, I was being dead serious. Like, we're going to be headed to the... And as I'm about to say, like, we're headed down, she said this, you know what she says? She says...
I'm 19.
I didn't believe her. I straight up thought she was lying to me, right? I thought she was straight lying to me. I thought she just wanted me so far away from her as possible. And so I just walk away. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, thank you so much anyway. Appreciate it. Take care, right? You know what I mean? I'm being respectful. I just walk away because you have to be over 21 to club, especially in Vegas. You know me, after we walk away like a minute from the restaurant, man, shifters like patting me on the back and Void Boy, they're like, hey, it's all good, man. At least you tried. I take the piece of paper with my number on it. I throw it at the front. I'm like, fuck, man. Fuck, man. You know what I mean? I'm just exaggerating. I'm fucking around. I'm laughing. I'm not actually sad or anything, but like, I'm laughing about it. You know, it's typical. I'm like, typical. You know, the usual. Whatever. Then we go to the club. Now, the boy balled out here. We copped 2 tables for DJ Mustard because everyone wanted to come to this club. Dude, no, I'm going to say this. Ludwig got fucking hustled at the club. So they come up to us and they're like, yo, by the way, you don't have to pay extra, you know, because usually you have to pay like extra, like $1,000 for whatever reason. They're like, yo, just give us 500 cash and like, you know, you're good. So we give him 500 cash to like hook Ludwig up. We do him a favor. And then Ludwig already paid for his table and Ludwig didn't have his real ID on him. He only had some other bullshit he had on him. And they like apparently didn't let him in. And they were like, yo, like give us 500, we'll let you in. As far as what I know, I might be butchering this side of the story because I wasn't there with them. But Ludwig gives them $500 as well. And then they just don't let Ludwig in the club. I don't understand how this dude bought a table. We paid some money to help him. He paid his own money, and then he just didn't get in. Then we go back to the casino and start gambling a little bit. Let me think what happened. Oh, this is where I start playing craps with Atrioc and Ludwig. Let me give a quick explanation to craps. At this point, I still barely understood what craps did. I kind of understood the game, but this is it. There's 2 dice that you're supposed to throw, and it goes in order of every person at the table throwing it out until someone strikes out. The way you strike out, when the button is off, right? There's something called the button. When you start your turn, the button is always off. If you roll a 7 or an 11, everyone on the table just wins money. And then if you hit a different number between 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, the button goes on one of those numbers. When the button is on a number, when you hit that number, everyone on the table wins. But if you hit 7, and the reason it's 7 is because 7 is the most common number that you can hit. If it hits 7, everyone loses. So that's pretty much how craps goes. And the reason it's super lit, yeah, it's also when the button is off, if it hits 2, 3, 12, you lose. Kind of goes without saying. But when the button's on, you just want to avoid 7. And the reason the game is so fun is because it's one person throwing the dice, and everyone at the table's getting hype when that person's hitting. But we're playing craps for a few hours. I think I made like 4 or 5K there. This is Sunday now, and I think I'm like relatively down like 1,000 or 2 gambling. And I'm like, oh, this is chill. So we have nothing, and we have no clubbing on Sunday. We have nothing we're gonna do. I go downstairs solo to go gamble. And I wanted to go play poker. Because I told you guys before I went to LA, or before I went to Vegas, I want to play poker in person. I've never played poker in person, and I think I'm pretty good. So I go downstairs, and I'm looking for a poker table. But you know who I run into? I run into Scara at the blackjack table. I'm like, I gotta play some hands with Scara, my boy, right? But I join them on the table. This is where shit gets bad. I bet 100. I lose it. I bet a 200. I lose it. Bet 300. I lose it. I bet like 300. I lose it. I start getting tilted. I have like 6K in my pocket. I start doing $1,000 hands. $1,000. I lost. $1,000. I lost. $1,000. I lost. $1,000. I lost. I was down literally like 5K in 5 minutes. Scar was in disbelief. Straight up. I was so tilted. You have no idea. So I go upstairs to my hotel room and I pull out a few more thousands. We do some roulette, play some hands, and I start tilting. I start playing $100 on every number. And not only was this one of the dumbest things I've done because I was tilted, and I wasn't even at the high limit tables that give you better odds. I literally let the casino scam me. I literally let them scam me. At the end of everything, chat, I am down $15,000 gambling.